Hi, I'm Drew D'Amelia.
And I'm Nick Padula.
And welcome to Blinkity Bloop, a podcast where we talk about movies that have come out recently. And just so you know, Blinkity Bloop is a podcast where we talk about movies that came out recently, but it's also a band. Blinkity Bloop is the name of our band. I just want to make sure that's cleared up.
Some people might get confused. They do have the same name, but both very different subject matters. Again, podcast, reviewing movies, and a band featuring Drew and I making very quality music, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just waiting to get some more exposure.
Yeah, but it's coming.
Yeah, definitely.
And just to clear the air about the other thing that happened last week.
Right.
Basically, it's all resolved.
Yeah, surprisingly, everything worked out despite everything looking like it was the end of the world.
Yeah, I got my way in the end. I know it sounds bad, but I think my way was the right way.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to keep the band together, and the band is going to be kept together, and we're still on track doing this podcast.
Yeah, the only trade-off is we might be doing this podcast longer than we intended instead of, in the future, just doing the band.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing this podcast twice as long, which is, it's the most realistic outcome, honestly, now that thinking about it.
Yeah, and plus, we'll be doing the podcast less, leaving us more time to rehearse.
Yeah, we're going to be doing one podcast a month. I guess it's what I wanted. I wanted the band to still be going.
Yeah.
But I guess to still be, on the right track with Mrs. Seelan and this podcast, so yeah, here we are.
And also, the format's a bit different than you might be used to. Instead of reviewing, 3 movies every, 2 weeks, we'll be pretty much going over every movie we've seen that month.
Yeah, so since the last episode, any movies we've seen that have come out, we're going to be talking about for probably years to come.
You sound intimidated.
Let's just jump into it.
All right,
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Have those titles, they don't click with me. Just fucking call it Solo. People know it's Star Wars. No, there's no Jeffrey Solo.
I used to be bothered by it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I don't know. It still bothers me. I don't like having to spell it out.
Right.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it is helpful. I go, oh, that is a Star Wars story.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you've heard Rogue One, you wouldn't automatically assume that is a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, and, the main series Star Wars movies have episode blank and then, title. So what are you going to give the spin-off movies, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess something generic like a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
So, Solo, a Star Wars story is our headliner, and I have virtually nothing to say about it.
I have slightly more to say about it, but still next to nothing for a headliner. That's not a good sign.
It's a movie about Han Solo and him going on a slightly interesting adventure.
Slightly.
As we get to learn things we didn't need to know about him.
Yep.
And apparently people really liked Han Solo in the Star Wars movies, and that's nice. I get it. It's a big epic drama, and he's a laid-back guy that's really put together and knows how to do things, and he's very useful and fun to be around in a story like that. And I suppose you can make him the main character if he's going to serve the same role, because that's why people like him. He's really put together, and he's the laid-back guy in a big drama. And in this movie, he's less put together, because it's his origins.
He's a youngling.
And it's much less of a drama.
Yeah.
So if you were looking for a downgrade in every possible way, Solo, a Star Wars story is for you. I mean, I'm not even a big Star Wars fan in the first place.
Yeah.
I might be misrepresenting the coveted Han Solo, but...
You're not.
I don't get it.
He's pretty fucking straightforward.
It was a downgrade in every way.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a fun little side quest for people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it or harmful about it.
No.
For me, it was an exercise in pointlessness. I was just kind of bored. There were things happening, and it's like, oh, that's a twist right there. Oh, that's an interesting character moment. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really care about the characters or the story. It was like, hey, us characters, we gotta transport the treasure. Like, oh.
Or we gotta steal the big beep boop machine from the beep boop overlords.
Yeah, that was basically, that was it.
Yeah, not really any complicated character drama going on.
Like, I just didn't find that compelling. I get that it was vaguely useful. Like, we have to steal this energy, or the bad guys are gonna use the energy,
or the bad guys are gonna kill us.
But I was just like, what? I needed more stakes. I needed something more interesting than that.
Yeah.
The most interesting stakes is there is a moment where they're transporting this energy, and the energy is very explosive, so they have limited time to do it. And I went, okay, here the stakes are pretty high, because if they don't transport it in time, they're going to explode and die. Mm-hmm. And nothing really ever lived up to that in terms of tension and me giving a shit.
And it's weird because it wasn't that big a moment compared to everything else that happened, but it felt pretty interesting in comparison.
Honestly, I wouldn't have cared if anyone died.
Yeah.
I didn't care. Like, if they failed and it blew up, I'd go, all right. I wouldn't even go, wow, that's a really interesting twist. They killed everyone. I still wouldn't care.
Just like, oh, Han Solo and Chewie are dead. Oh, well.
I'd just be numbed to it. I don't know. I don't care about Lando or whatever is who. It's just, I don't. Do I have to rewatch Star Wars and I'll go, my goodness, I've been wrong about Lando this whole time.
He was an okay character, and for the time it was, he was well written, and everyone else was. But nowadays it's just like, you gotta do more than just give us the old character. You gotta put a spin on it.
And yeah, was I wrong for being bothered that this young Han Solo, which is fine, I assume the Han Solo in the original Star Wars movies was maybe in his late 30s or something. This is a younger version. He's gonna look different and sound different, but there was too much different for me. Like, I was hoping that the person they casted would at least sound a little bit more like Harrison Ford, try to act a little bit more like Harrison Ford, look a little bit more like Harrison Ford. I feel like these two don't really look like the two actors that have portrayed Han Solo.
They had the hair, I guess.
Did they even?
His hair kind of looked like old Harrison Ford or young Harrison Ford.
I don't know. I just looked at this actor and I just thought of sad cosplay. I'm like, oh.
Like dollar store cosplay.
Yeah, like just this really rich dude that had a very sad obsession with Han Solo, and I'm going to make my own shitty movie, and probably thought it was amazing. And I'm sitting here like, oh, man.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. The movie does sort of exude depression in a way.
For anyone who just isn't like a complete, like, brainwashed fan.
Yeah. I'm sure fans will enjoy it.
Yeah.
There were moments for them, like things being explained. Like, let me tell you, I thought that the names in the Star Wars universe were just, words. It's just a language that existed in the Star Wars universe, like Leia. Oh, that's interesting. Skywalker. Solo. Yeah, that's a name. No, though, apparently in this movie we learned that Han was just called Han and got his last name Solo because he said, I don't have a last name and I don't know where I come from. Oh, so you're Solo? And I went, oh, wow. That's what I've been waiting for. To get into Star Wars is that moment.
Yeah, if Han Solo was able to stay with his girlfriend because they were separated, if he stayed with her, would he be Han together?
If Han figured out
Han in a relationship,
I don't know where I come from. Let her for Han. Oh, what's in here? Oh, I come from the Burger family. Burger, a Star Wars story.
Han Burger.
I didn't even put it together. That's what the pun was. Han Burger.
Han Hogwarts.
I'm just saying. All he needs is the information of where he came from. And that could happen in episode 9.
Yeah.
Just right in the middle of the action. Letter. The letter for whoever loves Solo.
Kylo Ren.
Like, Kylo Ren, I love Solo. That's
love
my
it
dad.
secretly.
He just opens it up. That'd be embarrassing for Kylo Ren, too. It's like, Kylo Ren, it looked like your new name is Kylo...
Feldstein.
Kylo Happy Boy. Oh, that's not very menacing at all.
That doesn't fit.
Although I do sometimes feel like a happy boy.
But I must smother it!
Like, where did Ren come from?
He made it up, because originally he was just Ben Solo.
That's right.
He made up the most, like, emo gothy name he could think of.
So he'd be Ben Happy Boy.
Yep.
Well, if you can just make up names like that, then I don't get it. How does naming work exactly? Because Han Solo was also made up, and he passed on his made-up name to his child.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of dumb. Just like, now you will be alone, just as I was.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not fair. Like, also, you're clearly not alone anymore, so don't you have to change to, like, Han, have a wife?
Currently with Leia, but open.
Han, it's complicated.
In an open, loving relationship.
Yeah.
Solo.
And then Ben in an open, loving relationship.
Dad, I didn't ask to be born with this name.
But that's the most fun I'm going to be able to pull out of this movie. I guess the only other thing I could say is that it started off when he was in his early 20s, and I obviously was not asking to see this movie. I didn't need a prequel about Han. I felt that he was interesting enough in the original movies. I guess he could carry his own movie, but I didn't feel that I needed it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, if you're going to do a prequel that I don't care about, I want you to go all the way. I want you to go the Star Wars prequels style and just give me 3 fucking movies, or 5. Just show Han Solo as a little baby.
Solo 5.
Just show, all the pointless scenes of Han Solo becoming who he is that we did not need.
Solo 5 is just his scenes in The Force Awakens.
It's like the Lion King 1.5 of the Star Wars universe is just from his perspective. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd hate it, but honestly, that's what I wanted my brain to stop thinking that in the movie, where I'm seeing him in his 20s and he's already on this planet, and I'm like, well, I want to know how he got here. Let's see the prequel to this movie.
Solo
Come on.
0.5.
Like, come on. I need to know and let's just go back. Like, we'll meet his parents, and then we see, like, the prequels about his parents and how they came to be, and just go back and back and back until we get to 2018. See, okay, wait, no, hold on. I fucked that up, because Star Wars technically takes place in the past.
Yeah.
Right? It'd be interesting to have a Star Wars movie that took place
in the
modern day.
Into 2018.
Like, think about how crazy that'd be if Star Wars characters were on Earth for some reason. I know that sounds like an awful hacky thing that you do with, like, a movie adaptation of a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. It could be interesting.
They're just like, what's with all these fucking boring people, and why are all their vehicles on the ground?
I'd probably watch that over Solo, a Star Wars story.
Luke Skywalker comes to Earth.
Happy Boy.
A Star Wars story. Don't give Disney any ideas. Mickey Mouse can read your thoughts.
I also hear that you might have had a problem with the big character reveal. The surprise cameo.
Yeah, if for anyone who saw the movie, you'll immediately know who I'm talking about. This was very out of nowhere, and for anyone who didn't watch the Clone Wars cartoons, you'd have no idea why this person's showing up now. But apparently, this is revealed in the Clone Wars cartoons that this guy was around. But the person I'm talking about, of course, is Howard the Duck. I'm just kidding. It's Darth. that was supposed to be a joke that would elicit laughter from you, but it didn't
even
work.
Finish saying the name of the actual guy. You just said Darth.
Darth Maul. was the character. And for anyone who may not be familiar with the prequels because your life is happier than mine, Darth Maul was the main bad guy in The Phantom Menace, and he never talked, and he basically looked like a drawing like a 9-year-old goth kid would come up with, like guy with red and black makeup and horns coming out of his head. And at the end of it, he was chopped in half and fell down a giant hole in it. And for anyone reasonable, you'd be like, that guy's definitely dead. And then he shows up in this, and he's like, haha, I was the evil bad guy behind everything all along. And I'm just like, when I was watching it, I'm just like, oh, it must be someone from his same species of gothy aliens.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or it's like his son or something.
It's me, Darth Cousin.
Darth Maul Jr.
It's Uncle Ed.
Darth Maul's
mean uncle.
Wacky uncle.
No, I mean, that's what I thought. Because, I mean, the actual bad guy that we saw in Solo's Star Wars story had this interesting stripe pattern on his face. He looked like a human other than that.
Yeah.
And when he got angry, you saw those stripes getting redder.
Yeah.
Though I really wanted a scene where that guy got really angry and you saw them like just glowing red. And honestly, I saw that and thought, that reminds me of Darth Maul. Maybe that's how Darth Maul got to look the way he did, is one day he got really angry, like his wife cheated on him. He's like, "Whoa!" And then his face
Horns
turned that
just
color
grow out.
and it never changed back. He's like, oh, dang it.
I'm a model. This really isn't going to work out for me.
I don't know. That probably helped his modeling career. That really is a good look on him.
Yeah, just he'd be great for Hot Topic magazine.
But I'm not convinced that was the Darth Maul from the prequels in this movie. It could have been any kind of guy.
Yeah.
It didn't look like him. It didn't sound like I don't know what the original Darth Maul sounded like, but I imagine him as like a beautiful soprano voice.
Not quite. It's a bit gruffer.
Oh, okay. Well, still. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Darth Maul boy.
I'm not either. But, and also it had to have another, like, throwing some scraps to the fans by having him pull out his dual lightsaber. And I was like, huh. Well, that guy's clearly not Darth Maul, because Darth Maul's obviously dead. So how'd that guy get Darth Maul's lightsaber? I guess they could have designed another one that had 2 blades, but that would be weird. But then I found out it's actually Darth Maul, and I guess in the Clone Wars Kids series, he was given robot legs. So what I was wondering was someone waiting at the bottom of that giant hole, and it's like, all right, we're gonna catch him in this big net. Like, oh, he's coming, here he comes. Woo, boom. And then they're just like, all right, quick, attach legs to his abdomen. And then that's how he lived.
Well, the thing is, sometimes people have to work long shifts at the Empire.
Yeah.
And so they just recommend, if you're going to be here a while, you can sleep here. And they like to keep things on hand, like, blankets and pillows. And they kept all of those at the bottom of that hole.
Yeah.
So when he fell down, he was just like, oh, that's nice. Oh, my legs are off of my body, but at least that was a nice fall.
Okay,
it's a good landing.
Not so bad.
So that's what happened.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious scenario, I think.
That's really Darth Maul. That's going to be. I mean, I'm happy to see more of Darth Maul, I guess, because I thought he looked cool, and that's about it. So
yeah.
I'm like, I'll watch him dance more.
I don't know if I had to choose between Solo, a Star Wars movie, and Maul. Star
fuck
Wars
it.
Movie?
I'd much rather have Maul, a Star Wars Maul. That'd be great. Star Wars gets their own Maul. It's Darth Maul.
Oh, wait, we spelled it wrong.
I'd fucking watch Darth Maul, a Star Wars story. Fuck it, let's see him as a baby.
Yeah. See, like, a little kid with that weird-ass makeup.
I'm on board for this. I want Darth Maul, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, fuck Boba Fett, a Star Wars story. I don't give a shit about that guy.
Yeah. Though, it's presumed that if Darth Maul showed up at the very end of this, that he's got to come back in some capacity. And it won't be in the main series
No.
because, that's way too far into the future.
He would have definitely been dead by then.
So he's going to either pop into Solo, a Star Wars story, or Obi-Wan, a Star Wars story.
Or Lando.
Oh boy, there better not be a Lando, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, it's not necessary. I mean, I like Donald Glover and everything, but he deserves better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
He got what he deserved.
Whoa.
He knows what he did. Now, you saw a movie that I didn't see.
That I did. I went off and did my own thing.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, I saw Batman Ninja. And for those of you who haven't heard of it, which is probably most of you, it's from DC Animation Studios, but it was made in Japan.
Whoa.
Whoa.
No.
What's like Batman being written over there? Batman's a marker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, they did their own Batman thing, and what was kind of weird about it was, traditionally Japanese animation is two-dimensional, but this was 3D cel-shaded, which isn't always the best look. Sometimes anime has a weird animation style like that, and it doesn't always work as well as their traditional 2D, but I'd say they made it work. So the story in it is Batman is fighting his usual villains in the modern day with his sidekicks Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing. And did you know there's a Batman sidekick named Red Robin?
Fine. I just accept everything.
Yeah. I thought it was weird when I first heard it. I'm just like, that sounds a lot like that restaurant. But anyways, he's going after the Joker, but then Gorilla Grodd, who's a gorilla that's psychic, makes a time machine that accidentally sends all Batman, all his sidekicks, and all his enemies back to feudal Japan, where samurai lived, where ninjas lived, and he's just like, oh shit, where's my butler? Oh, there he is. Alfred's somehow here too. He was somehow in range of the time machine to send them back. I'm just like, Alfred, were you just waiting in the car? Like, I made these hors d'oeuvres for you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, Alfred. They now turned into sushi. Raw fish. And so then it turns out the Joker became this feudal overlord, and he's got a bunch of samurai that wear Joker masks, and now Batman's like, I have to save feudal Japan from the Joker so I don't fuck up the future. And so him and his sidekicks go on this crazy wacky journey and meet, they see Two-Face, they see Poison Ivy, they see all the big names, but in samurai
feudal
form.
Japan. It sounds like the Joker got way more mileage time traveling to Japan than he managed to do. I mean, he became what, an emperor or some shit?
The next best thing. And him and Harley Quinn were just sitting at the top of this giant tower, and the tower became a robot at one point.
Oh, okay.
It went full Japanese anime, and at one point Robin befriended a monkey, and that monkey had a bunch of monkey friends, and they all formed together into a giant monkey with Batman inside it, and the giant monkey made of littler monkeys fought the tower the Joker was piloting.
This kind of sounds amazing.
It kind of was, but they didn't always ham it up. They didn't really acknowledge it was way over the top. They're just like, this is kind of happening.
Took it completely seriously.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, to them, this is serious shit. To those Japanese people.
They have giant building fights every day over there. That's normal for them.
Yeah, it really probably is.
Like that and Godzilla, just always stomping through.
That's fascinating, though, that they took the Batman property. I mean, I know with comics, there's all sorts of weird shit that winds up happening eventually. That's kind of the fun thing about superheroes, in the comics is that, like, there's absurd shit that happens and you just go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not even surprising. So, that I don't know. I'm happy Batman Ninja exists.
Yeah.
But I'm not even, like, that surprised.
Right.
Like, them going back to feudal Japan, I'm like, whatever. But then again, at the same time, I am still a little surprised by many monkeys making up a giant monkey to fight a robot
That
tower.
was a bit different. I was expecting sword fights and everything, and Batman, like, learning katanas and everything, and ninja stars. He also got a whole ninja army, so that was cool. Because they saw a prophecy where a guy in a bat suit showed up and saved Japan, and that was convenient. But, yeah, the giant monkey scene with the tower fighting each other was definitely a big highlight for me. If you were to see older or more recent DC animations, I'd say this is probably on the higher end, because most of them are just like they're better versions of like the main DC canon movies. Like Batman v Superman is shit, Justice League is shit, Suicide Squad is shit. But when you see DC animations, they have their shit a lot more together. So you see like the characters explored in an interesting way. But this is, like, extra interesting and extra over the top. And that's why I enjoyed it more than, other animations by them.
I don't know. You have more comics, so I imagine the way comics work is a lot of them are grounded, and then occasionally they get really absurd. But we have less movies. All the live-action Batman movies I've seen have all been relatively grounded.
Except Adam West, but that's...
Movies.
Adam West they had a Batman movie back in the 60s.
With Adam West?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. All right, I'll give him that.
That was where they had shark repellent spray.
But yeah, I feel like movies these days with Batman, we're ready for some absurdity. So I'm glad that Batman Ninja has stepped onto the battleground.
Yeah.
Nick, I appreciate you talking about Batman Ninja, but I gotta just take over, okay?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Go for it.
I want to talk about a movie we've seen that just busted my gut wide open.
Absolutely.
Life of the Party.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
It was a great comedy. I loved it.
Oh.
Melissa McCarthy, national icon.
Oh,
she
yes.
decides, I gotta go back to school. And I'm thinking, what hijinks are we getting run into? And she hooks up with a boy, and that's so funny. And she joins the sorority, and that's, oh man. And her daughter goes there, and it's crazy, because at one point they do the walk of shame together, and it's so funny. And then she gets her degree. This movie was awful.
Yeah, it was fucking abysmal.
I don't know. I feel like a fair thing to do would be to just, very calmly and eloquently explain why and try to educate people maybe. But it
doesn't deserve that courtesy.
I feel nothing. This movie was like constant Novocaine. Just, oh, please. It hurts so much despite how numb I am.
Novocaine's a good thing, though.
No, it's not. Have you had Novocaine?
I mean, it's like a pleasant numbness.
I don't think it's pleasant.
Well, it's usually while I'm watching TV, so I guess.
I enjoy... Wait, what?
No, at my dentist office, when I get Novocaine, when I'm getting a filling or something, they have a little TV that I can watch.
I thought you were saying that you'll watch, like, Game of Thrones and go, oh, hold on, let me get my Novocaine.
And inject it right in my gums.
Because I like to feel things when I'm watching, media. And I was numbed to everything in Life of the Party.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of laughing gas.
What? Are you fucking...
I got laughing gas and Novocaine at the dentist office.
Okay, well, I can see how you're confused, I guess.
Yeah, the laughing gas was a pleasant feeling. The Novocaine, not so much. Okay.
Well,
moving
I
on.
would have liked some laughing gas, because that's the only way I was going to laugh at this movie.
That joke was funnier than the whole movie.
There is literally one joke I liked. And there's a character that said, "Hey, Frank, why don't we have sex in public anymore?" And he said something like, "Well, you tried to, but last time you hurt your hip and I had to carry you out of the Six Flags." And it was just... It was just good delivery. Like,
Yeah.
you kept learning more about the scenario, and it was done in a subtle way, and I went, wow, good joke. Good, solid joke. And then...
Yeah.
He was my hope. Frank was my one hope. And he showed up in another scene later on in the movie. I went, come on, Frank, deliver. Bring this, Frank.
All right.
And he didn't.
No, he
never did again.
Completely normal. That whole joke was a fucking drop in the bucket of bullshit.
As the movie went on and Frank did not help me get through it, I just kept looking at the floor of the movie theater and thinking, I want to lie down. And, it's not like the floor of a movie theater is an appealing place to be, but I was just thinking, like, I just want to be on the floor right now. I don't want to be with this movie. And one moment finally got me to do it. It's because they're raising money for a big fucking thing at the end and throwing a party to raise the money, and I'm like, I fucking whatever. And guess who shows up to help them raise money? It turns out Melissa McCarthy's roommate is cousins with Christina Aguilera.
Oh my god.
And they kept talking about Christina Aguilera at the end of this movie, and I was naive. I should have known that Christina Aguilera was going to show up, but maybe the Novocaine was just making me numbed to having this sort of forethought. But the limo pulls up, and we don't know who's going to come out of it yet. And Christina Aguilera pops out and goes, "Hey guys, it's me, Christina." And then I went to the floor.
Yeah.
Like, I can't resist any longer.
I never saw someone react like that to like a horrible moment, but it was justified. I was close to breaking too.
I was done. I don't like Christina Aguilera at all, and even if I did, this would have killed my enjoyment of her.
It's like, I'm no longer a fan.
It was so sad. It was so sad. And then she started singing an awful song, and I had checked out.
Yep.
I don't even know if I got up off the floor for the end of the movie.
There were still like 15 more minutes left after that, at least.
God, no, really?
I think so.
No, there wasn't.
Maybe like 10 minutes. But I remember it dragging on a good bit more after that.
Life of the party will suck the life out of you. I literally just felt just a wave of sleepiness after talking about it. My body's going, time for bed. I'm like, no, there's fucking more movies to talk about.
Yeah.
But Life of the Party, hard pass.
Ooh, absolutely.
It's exactly what you'd expect. There's nothing surprising at all. Like, oh, we gotta spank you for your initiation into the sorority. Ow, I hurt my ass. Oh, yeah. Are you okay, Mom? My ass.
Your delivery of that is still funnier than the movie.
There's like one interesting twist where the person that is sleeping with Melissa McCarthy's ex, her son was the person Melissa McCarthy was sleeping with.
Yeah.
They went, wow, that's an interesting twist. And it happened, and then it went away.
Yeah, and it never really became relevant again.
Yep, there weren't really consequences. And it should have, like, that's the thing, is that it should have been like, yeah, Melissa McCarthy, you totally got back at your ex-husband's mean girlfriend by sleeping with his son. And maybe I would have felt that if I gave a shit about Melissa McCarthy in this movie. Yeah. But I didn't. So her victory was actually, in a way, a little bit painful. Because I wanted her to fail.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like her.
Right.
And I was seeing this good twist in terms of writing. But then I was thinking, but it's happening to her.
And it's happening in a shit movie.
Yeah.
So the good writing was probably on accident.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to say is, like, I called a few of the jokes in these movies before it happened. But one moment that wasn't a joke, that I wanted to be a joke, was, like, at the beginning of the movie, they're dropping their daughter off at college. And this is before he becomes her ex-husband, and they're still together. And they're, like, driving off, and I'm just like, you know, it'd be really funny if as soon as they drive off, the husband says, I want a divorce. And then that happens, and I'm like, oh, this is great, but it's delivered seriously. So
Yeah.
I'm like...
It was just a dramatic moment. I'm like, fuck me.
And I'm just like, no, who would take this seriously? Who would be like, this, like... I was just like, I don't get it. Just make it funny. Just, no one wants to see a serious divorce moment in what's supposed to be a goofy-ass comedy.
Dude, there's no hope.
No.
There's just no hope for this movie.
No, I can't, like, in good conscience recommend it to even the least funny person I know.
But you know what we can recommend?
What?
Book Club.
Sorry.
I mean, what more do we have to say than it's a movie about 4 old ladies spicing up their love life by choosing the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy
Yeah.
as their books for a book club. I think the best thing I was able to say about this movie is it feels like a Disney Channel original movie for old people.
Yeah.
So few consequences. It's just like, it's for having a good time, I guess, if you're an old lady and you're just like, I want to watch people have fun.
I feel like a lot of old people, though, think that it would be too crude a movie and too inappropriate.
It really wasn't, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, 50 Shades was present.
Yeah.
But they, like, basically never referenced any of the crude stuff happening. They'd make some sort of sly, subtle remarks like, oh man, I didn't know you could do that in bed.
Just like, and then you just see one of the old ladies completely naked, chained to a bedpost, like, whip me.
Yeah, there's, like, no sex in this movie. Like, sex happened, it was implied, but no nudity.
Thank goodness.
No, I mean, I would have been fine with
You know what? I actually would have
titties
too.
flapping around.
I
Because, you know,
would've too.
it's for the fucking movie. It's in the service of art. Sorry, I shouldn't. I can't refer to this as art.
No,
But I'm just, like, it gave us nothing.
No.
Oh, man.
Diane Keaton.
Yeah, it had great actors in it. Wasn't Robert Shaw in it?
Yeah, or
No.
Wallace Shawn.
No, but also Robert Shaw, I think.
Who's Robert?
Jaws boy, right?
Oh, wait. No, that was Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, okay. He's also Jaws boy, though, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. So, yeah,
You were part right.
we got to see, like, the side of his naked ass, which I feel it was an accident. Like, that's just how the shot came out, and they couldn't reshoot it. So, like, I guess we're just gonna have a little bit of nudity in this movie.
Little bit of, like, old man ass.
You can see the fine hairs of his thigh.
Oh, Julia Louise. That's where your greatness came from.
What?
I think they're related. I think that's
Oh,
her dad.
shit. Wait a minute. Julia Louise-Dreyfus is related to Richard Dreyfuss?
Let me just double check.
You're not going to be able to do it on your phone on airplane mode.
I'm going to turn it off briefly.
Well, I have my laptop right here.
Oh, okay, never mind. We have to confirm this. Hang on just a moment.
This is going to be a problem for me.
You won't be able to enjoy looking at her heavenly visage if it's associated with Richard Dreyfuss and his big ass.
No, quite the opposite. If it turns out they're related, this is going to just change the way I look at Richard Dreyfuss's ass.
That's where those genes came from.
Nope.
Ah.
Richard Dreyfuss is not Julia Louise-Dreyfus's dad.
Damn it. Okay, sorry. Fake news.
So his ass is normal to me now.
Okay, normal old man ass.
Yep,
My
normal
mistake.
old man ass.
Anyway.
Not really, though. It was just these each old lady had their own problem. Like, one had commitment issues, and one was in a relationship, but oh no, and then one was like trying to get back trying out online dating and seeing how that worked, and they were all really insignificant problems.
Yeah.
And they all got better. And I think the worst one, and she's probably the main character.
Yeah.
What's her fucking name? Diane Keaton?
Yeah, Diane Keaton.
Who actually was in the first decom, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Here's her thing. She met a pilot, and he was hot. And she's like, wow, this pilot's hot. I'm going to go on dates with him. But the problem is her children wanted to move her to Arizona so their mom could live in their basement.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, is this really the big conflict here?
Is this how children behave?
And so she got sad at some point for no reason. Basically, her kids found out she was dating a guy, and they're like, ah! And I'm like, why are you concerned? What the fuck is happening?
They don't want their mom to be happy, and they're just happy with her being a widow.
And the mom was going, I have to care about my kids, so I can't see you, and I'm going to move to Arizona. And then she gets there, and she's living in Arizona in the basement of her daughter's home. I'm thinking, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And then Diane Keaton has a moment where she goes, you know what? I am old and have a life of my own, and I want to be with this man. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then that was it.
Yeah.
And she got with the man. I'm like, what the
problem
fuck?
resolved.
Like, was this not obvious to everyone?
Apparently.
And the daughters are so fucking annoying. Just like,
They were.
Mother, come live with us. You see the man? Mother! Oh, no! Like, I was just embarrassed.
It was pretty fucking bad.
Didn't even seem like characters. It just seemed like a glitch. Like,
Yeah.
like if scripts could somehow glitch, like, oh, geez, that's an error. These are supposed to be characters, but they're just shrieking fucking maniacs.
We need to get the engineer in here to fix this.
Well, I see what your problem is. A good technician would just delete the whole thing and say, fixed it.
Whoops.
The whole book club the whole thing was a glitch.
Yeah, it was just a massive mistake.
Should have never happened.
Two great Pixar actors were in it, though. Mr. Incredible and Rex. That was just for you, Drew. They put those guys in there just for you.
They're both great.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't care that they were in this. It was sad. There were a lot of great talents in this movie.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm just looking at it thinking, my God, I wish they could get better work than this.
Yeah, if only.
This sucks. I mean, this is for someone. I mean, it's very nice of all these talented people to come together and give, old lady. I'm sure this is just the movie for a group of people. They're finally something a little bit raunchy, but light and fun.
For old people.
No interesting problems or solutions.
Yeah.
This is great for me.
Great for people who are just, don't like to think when they watch their movies.
Not great for me, though.
No.
Not at all.
Me neither. Nope.
I tell you, watching this movie, it made me want to commit a dark crime.
Dark crimes, plural?
Hey, that's like the movie we watched.
Oh, you mean the goofy Jim Carrey romp reminiscent of his 90s escapades? Dark Crimes, Polish crime thriller?
This is Jim Carrey being serious.
Oh.
He's serious in this movie.
Yeah.
This movie was basically Jim Carrey trying to figure out who raped this girl.
And who murdered this guy.
And then he just kind of tried to find out. And then found out, but then he realized he was wrong at the end of the movie.
And he couldn't really do anything about it.
And I know it sounds like we're glossing. Oh, come on. You got to talk about the style and the way it was presented and what happened exactly with the plot points. But basically, that's the synopsis the movie deserves.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like. Me explaining it that way is the feeling you get from watching this movie. It was just really slow and dry. It was a dry movie with characters that just had no life to them. And it's really weird because Jim Carrey is obviously a very vibrant person.
Yeah.
Who is put in this very dry movie where he's giving this really dry performance because everything is dry. And it makes you not care at all. There's barely any impetus for anything. You're just watching these scenes slowly unravel as everyone seems like they're on fucking painkillers. And it's brutal. But Jim Carrey has these eyes that are very expressive. And they're, I'd say, maybe larger than average eyes.
I guess.
Not in a bad way. They're great, expressive eyes. And I was worried as I'm watching this movie, because I saw what he looked like. And I'm like, I don't know, with those eyes, I feel like that could be a problem. They could be too expressive for this very dry movie. I'm not sure, though. It depends on what his character's like. Maybe his character kind of has a callous exterior, but he has a lot of emotion stirring on the inside. That turned out to not be the case, and it absolutely was a problem, and it's weird. Because, honestly, what this movie desperately needed was some sort of emotion, and here are Jim Carrey's eyes, probably by accident, just trying to break through of this dryness. They're trying to just express more than this movie is demanding from everyone. But that's actually in disservice to the movie, because I'm like, this is nothing but fucking sandpaper, and you're trying to give me a tulip. Like, I know, like, it's actually gonna make it worse to have your eyes, like, trying to break out of this dryness, because it's confusing. You're looking at it like, well, that doesn't belong. This is supposed to be horse shit.
Yeah. It was just very inexplicable casting. Like, most of the cast is, like, Polish, and it's a Polish crime thriller, and, like, I think Charlotte Gainsbourg is Danish. But anyways, it's the only American in it is Jim Carrey, and it's just like, I didn't know Jim Carrey could do a Polish accent, and he didn't really. It was, like, a mix of, like, British and, like, maybe a little bit of Russian in there, but I didn't hear anything distinctly Polish.
I mean, I'm no expert.
Yeah, but I just... Jim Carrey doesn't strike me as the type to play different, like, backgrounds, different ethnicities.
No, I support him trying to do serious things, because Jim Carrey really does seem like a passionate actor when he's not being fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like he could deliver something, but I also feel like he's too wired, and he has to find a way to, like, rein it in and really think about what he's doing at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know him as a person. I've never worked with him.
No.
But Dark Crimes was not a good outlet for him.
No, it wasn't.
And I don't know why, but Dark Crimes just kept making me think of Hard Times by Paramore.
Yeah.
And obviously we made our own little Dark Crimes.
And it got to a point where the movie was so boring, Drew decided to play that music, and it actually made the film infinitely better. And it was during a really graphic sex scene
where Jim Carrey wound up, like, he started beating the person he was fucking. Like, Hard Times. Like,
it's like, Jesus Christ.
God, but, like,
it made it better.
It really, we played it for a good probably 10 minutes of the movie, just playing Hard Times, and it really, like, did make Dark Crimes better.
Everyone with sad faces in a sad, like, boring, horribly shot movie, and it's just like, this is Hard Times.
We should edit Dark Crimes and just insert Hard Times frequently. Like, that's because, again, that's what the movie needed, is, like, some sort of life to it.
Yeah.
And that Hard Times is a very lively song.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It's a
hard time, you might even say.
Yeah. It's a very dead movie.
Yeah.
I'd say.
It was a dark crime, that movie. And I had
the fact that it existed.
I had a hard time watching it.
Was a dark time.
Yeah, for these hard crimes.
Yeah.
And now we've officially forever exhausted any entertainment we're ever going to get out of Dark Crimes.
I think so, yes.
Now it's time for the movie I saw that you didn't.
Okay.
But honestly, I'm not even confident I saw it. It's called Bad Samaritan.
Oh.
Had David Tennant, and he was a spooky boy.
Oh, I like it when he does something that isn't Doctor Who.
I guess he kidnapped a girl, and he was really religious or something.
Oh.
And I guess he was trying to, like, train her.
To do what?
I don't know. And there was a boy, and he was like, hey, I accidentally stumbled upon this crazy plan of David Tennant. I gotta stop him, but the police don't believe me. And
Why didn't they believe him?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're idiots. And David Tennant was like, I'm gonna... Oh my god, it's coming back to me. It was so bad.
Uh-oh.
David Tennant's like, I'm gonna teach you to mess with me, boy. You don't know what powers I have. And so he, like, hacks into the guy's Facebook and says to his girlfriend, like, you're a bitch. I'm dumping you. And I'm like, really? Like, this guy that's evil enough to kidnap and train this innocent, defenseless woman is like, I'm gonna show you my true evil. I'm gonna post false things using your Facebook account.
I'm gonna prank you so hard.
Yeah, basically. So David Tennant, using his great evil, totally pranks this bro.
I feel like the bro would just be like, hey, my Facebook was hacked, everyone. Be on the lookout for someone messaging you.
He easily could have. But then I guess David Tennant also took, like, this private nude photo.
Of himself?
No, like, the main bro took a picture of his girlfriend naked and is like, we'll keep this private. I won't share this with anyone. But then I guess David Tennant, like, when he hacked onto Facebook, like, shared it with everyone. Like, hey, look, it's this girl and she's naked. And the boy's like, I've been hacked. And the girl's like, oh, you're a monster. And David Tennant's like, haha, I've done it. Like, what the fuck am I watching?
My evil plan is coming to fruition.
So awful. David Tennant, bless his heart. This is not... I mean, he probably had no direction in this movie. I don't know. Someone got shot, but then I guess they were alive.
It's... From what it seemed like it was initially describing, it sounded like it'd be a really potentially interesting thriller with some violence in it. But it seemed pretty, like, non-violent.
I mean, he wound up killing people.
Okay.
But, like, maybe 2 people.
Oh, that's a very short killing spree.
Like, the main bro had, like, a best friend bro.
Mm-hmm.
And David Tennant went in there, like, shot him in the head.
Oh, no.
It's just weird. Like, I don't know what David Tennant was. Like, at one point, he's like a silly troll. Then he's like an evil religious zealot.
Yeah.
And then he's like a guy that, like, breaks into your house and tries to smash in your head with a baseball bat.
That's a bunch of very different things.
Yeah. I don't know what I was watching.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good.
Sounds very tonally, like, uneven.
I mean, honestly, it was mostly this movie about a main character going, you have to believe me, you have to believe me. And that's not fun to watching a character try to convince people that what he knows and what we know is true.
Yeah.
Like, that's just frustrating to watch as an audience member. Like, we know this is true. But also, David Tennant's character, who really is the impetus for everything, is just so confusing. And you never really figure out what his deal is.
Yeah.
And it's not confusing in a fun or interesting way. There's just not enough going on.
Gotcha.
It's really just mostly lame.
Sounds like it.
And that's driving the whole movie. So you're just going, all right. And then I think he gets captured at the end and the boy and the girl survive.
Oh, boy.
And, yeah. So he was definitely a Bad Samaritan. Dude, I can't believe I saw a Bad Samaritan.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about it.
But we do have Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
I like the character of Deadpool.
Yeah.
I like what they're up to with having Deadpool basically take the piss out of superhero stuff and just movies in general. I like that he's breaking the fourth wall. I like that they made fun of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
A lot of it was really funny, but I find shit like this a lot funnier when it feels like it fits into a plot. Like, it'd be one thing if this was just a stand-up special, and I'd almost like that, I think, just have a stand-up special with Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I'd probably, like, he wouldn't even have to kill anyone. I could probably get into it.
Just him talking?
Yeah, probably just cracking his wisecracking jokes.
Yeah.
But with a movie, I have this expectation that it's going to weave into a good story. Because that's the thing. No matter how funny it is, I also want there to be a story that I like too. And I didn't really like the story. I don't feel like the story was up to nearly as much as the comedy aspect was.
Yeah.
It was just, there's this kid and he's going to become bad in the future, so we got to stop him. Wait, no, I can convince him to be good so you don't have to kill him. Well, I want to kill him. Well, let me convince him to be good. Well, all right. Hey, I did it.
Yep.
Okay. I was just like, I mean, you get to know the kid, I guess, but you don't really know his backstory that much.
Yeah.
You don't know. I don't feel like we spent enough time with the kid or getting to know who he was or why we should like him.
Right.
And so much of this movie hinged on this kid. And he didn't really have any significance other than being a kid, which I get is kind of the point. It's like, let's just save one person here, but I don't know. I don't feel like we knew enough. I didn't believe that Deadpool would, like, care enough to try to save him.
Normally he wouldn't.
And I get that his girlfriend died in this, and maybe that made him go, now I gotta save a kid, but I wasn't feeling it. I didn't believe it enough. I don't know. Maybe there was almost too much comedy, and they didn't take enough time to, like, and I would be fine with that. If they cut out 10% of the jokes just to make the story better and make more sense, I would be much more satisfied with all the other jokes that happened.
Right. Because it was almost like a joke every, like, minute or 2 minutes. So when you get all that serious stuff in there, it's just like, oh, hey, are we going to have a nice balance here between serious and funny like Guardians of the Galaxy would do? And it's just like, no, the comedy far outweighs the, like, plot elements, and it just, like, it just feels off.
Yeah. And, you know, I guess I got enough violence with Deadpool, but I didn't feel like I got very much out of Cable. I didn't even really get what his deal was. Was he a great shot? Was he really strong?
He's part, like, cyborg, and he, like, I don't know, in the comics, he's, like, got master precision and everything.
I didn't know what he was good at,
and
what his
super
skill
strength,
was.
And he's got, like, bionic powers. And
it was never really clear to me. He just had a gun and
was good at fighting.
I'm like, all right, is that it?
Yeah.
I wanted more out of Cable.
They didn't explain him enough.
Domino was a really cool concept where she's just constantly lucky, but even that was, like, pretty exceptionally lazy. There were only 2 sequences that involved her using her luck. Mm-hmm. And one of them was kind of cool, but short. And the other one, it was just kind of thrown in at the last minute, like, oh, look, she got lucky, I guess. Even though most of the scene was just her fighting.
Yeah.
And doing good with fighting.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, it didn't seem like luck. It just seemed like, oh, she's more trained.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't satisfied with Domino either. So, I don't know, just, it sucks because I like what Deadpool's up to, but I'm not feeling it as a story, and I'm not getting enough out of it as a story.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I don't give a shit about, what is his name, Colossus, but
yeah, nah, he's just a boring character.
I guess that was a cool fight, Colossus and Juggernaut.
It was interesting how he did have a kind of arc where he is like this purist at the beginning, and he's like, X-Men don't kill we don't kill people, and Deadpool's like, I have to kill people, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, bang, 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 and then Colossus at the end is like, time to fight dirty.
I didn't even get why he decided to fight dirty all of a sudden, though. Like, I wanted to like that, and I know where you're coming at. It does seem like he had an arc. Like, he went from being purist to realizing you have to get dirty, but it's like, cool, how do you realize that?
I guess like him fighting like a good guy and not pulling any cheap moves wasn't working and wasn't phasing Juggernaut.
Well, no, because he started the fight going, it's time to fight dirty. I think he threw maybe 3 punches and then went, time to fight dirty. He really didn't give much of an effort to fight clean.
No, I guess not.
And it's not like the movie was about Deadpool saying, hey, you have to kill people. You just have to kill people. And then Colossus learns, my God, he's right.
Snap.
No, like, the whole movie is about how Deadpool is basically following Colossus's rules. Like, you have to fight clean. Don't just kill the kid. Try to convince him to be good.
Yeah.
And Colossus is like, now it's my turn to break my own rules.
Now
like,
I'm gonna kick Juggernaut in the dick.
like, what the fuck? Doesn't this go against what the whole fucking movie is trying to be about?
Yeah.
Also, Juggernaut being there, like, I get that it was cool seeing Colossus and Juggernaut fight, but Juggernaut was basically, I guess you could say, persuaded by the little kid to help the little kid get revenge on people that wronged him. And so Deadpool's trying to stop the little kid, like, don't get the revenge! But with Juggernaut being there, now, given, ultimately, Juggernaut wound up getting distracted, fighting Colossus, so the kid wound up, being his own villain with the people he's trying to get revenge on. But let's say that they showed up 5 minutes late, the heroes. Then the kid and Juggernaut, basically the kid would go into the building and go, hey, Juggernaut, do all the bad stuff. And wouldn't that be distracting? Like, isn't this supposed to be centered on the kid and trying to keep the kid from doing evil things? I get that technically the kid is ordering Juggernaut to do this stuff, but I feel like in your brain you're going to be saying, oh, Juggernaut's the real bad guy here. And yeah, like, Juggernaut did ultimately wind up fighting Colossus, and that's what Juggernaut was doing.
Yeah, I mean...
But I still feel like just having him in the story just kind of confused the narrative.
The kid isn't supposed to be the villain. The kid's supposed to be in conflict between hero and villain. And the whole conflict was trying to make sure he didn't become a villain and become destructive in the future. So Juggernaut was technically more of a villain and is supposed to be more of a villain than the little fire kid.
I know, but the point is, like, it was supposed to be the kid being his own bad guy, but with Juggernaut there, Juggernaut's being the bad guy for the kid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's supposed, like, this whole movie's about the kid. There shouldn't be Juggernaut. If anything, maybe the kid takes a potion that turns him into Juggernaut or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's funny because they would pick apart their own movies sometimes, and there's a joke like, oh, well, that's lazy writing. But there's so much more laziness in this movie
that they don't acknowledge.
Exactly. They didn't bother, like, pointing it out. I'm like, God damn it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Even one thing I hated was that they introduced this collar that you can put on a mutant, and it gets rid of their mutant powers. For me, the most interesting thing about Deadpool is that he can die, technically, but you have to be really creative with it.
Yeah.
Like, he can blow himself up and he won't even necessarily die.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, in the comics, I'm sure they found ways to kill Deadpool.
Mostly no.
But, okay. Well, inventing this collar that basically takes away his invulnerability makes it so all you have to do to kill Deadpool is put a collar on him and shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that completely takes away what's interesting about Deadpool to me. Is that, well, not completely, because Deadpool is still, a wisecracking character.
Yeah.
And I do like that he's the kind of character that can throw himself into crazy situations and get really badly hurt because it ultimately doesn't matter. So he's very reckless, and that's not taken away. But there was a lot of appeal in just, how can he die?
Yeah.
How can this character die? And having, like, a solution like that is kind of annoying.
Right.
And they completely acknowledge it, too, because Deadpool puts on the collar, gets shot, and then dies. And I'm like, really? And then Cable has time-traveling powers, like, goes back in time and makes it so the bullet that hit Deadpool, like, got reflected off this, like, bronze token. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, you went back in time and did that, but it took Deadpool, like, 4 minutes to die, and he had the collar on. You didn't think, maybe I'll just take off the collar and save myself the trouble of going all the fucking way back in time.
Yeah,
which,
and
by the
wasting
way,
his charge.
Yeah, he apparently only had enough charge to get, like, back to where he came from in the future, and instead just wasted it
to save Deadpool.
Going back in time and saving Deadpool in a roundabout way where he could have done the same thing without using time travel.
Exactly. Like, the one thing the writers might use to justify it is, like, Colossus was reaching for it to break it off, and Deadpool's like, no, I want to die. Just let it happen. And just, like, do it anyway. Just, like, fuck you, Deadpool.
Cable didn't want him to die and wound up saving him anyway and, like, keeping Deadpool from dying, so fuck it. Like,
yeah, might as well just do it immediately.
And Cable goes, my family's safe, so I don't mind staying in the past for a while. Like, what the fuck? Your whole thing was you loved your family so much you were willing to kill a child.
Yeah.
You're like, I guess I don't need to be around them right now. What the fuck? Like, that was your whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh. And then, I love this part, okay? The whole movie is about, there's this bad guy. I guess he's a pedophile, though it's unclear, but basically he tortured kids. And
he was very religious about it.
Obviously, the theme of the movie is, don't be a bad guy and stoop to his level and kill him. You gotta be good. Because the child wanted to kill this guy. They ultimately convinced him not to. Child's a good guy. So then that mean bad guy comes out and he's like, hello, I guess I might be a pedophile or something. We don't know, but hey, I'm bad.
and also all you mutants are a bunch of freaks and you're all gonna burn in hell and blah, 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 blah.
And Deadpool and the kid are like, we're above that. We're not gonna kill you. You're gonna have karma come at you. And then all of a sudden a taxi just completely demolishes him.
Yeah.
And he dies. And if that was an accident, that'd be one thing. I'd go, okay, great, that's karma. But it turned out the driver was our friend that's been tagging along as a sidekick this whole movie.
Yeah.
That desperately wanted to kill somebody. And he finally did. And obviously this was completely intentional because he gets out of the car and he's completely satisfied. And it's not like the taxi came from someone's front lawn.
Yeah.
So I cannot see how this possibly could have been accidental.
Right.
And so the taxi driver's like, yeah, I did it. I killed someone. And all the heroes that were just saying, we're above this, let's let karma sort things out, are cheering him on like, yeah, you did it, Brown Panther. You totally killed somebody. Like, I thought your thing was that you're not supposed... So it's okay for him to be beneath everyone else. Save the kid. But if this taxi driver becomes a horrible villain, that's fine.
It's not like Cable goes into the future and finds the taxi drivers become taxi murder, man.
Yeah, basically.
He got his first taste of violence.
It's just like, God, I get that it was a joke. And I get, you want that bad guy to die because you want the satisfaction of him being dead. But also, that's the problem with the theme, is that the theme is saying it'd be satisfying to kill him, but we're above that. But the movie wanted to satisfy the audience by going against their theme, and that's what they had to do.
Yeah.
It's like,
wrote themselves into a corner. Yeah.
And then Deadpool just went back and undid everything, like saved his girlfriend, which... the fact his girlfriend died was supposed to be the driving force behind why Deadpool wanted to help save this child.
Right.
And just having the girlfriend saved is like, what? Oh.
All right, so no character development then. We just undid everything.
Oh, yeah, it kind of feels like the whole movie was a waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily. That's not necessarily true, but that's what it feels like.
But, by going back in time, that theoretically would have undone his, new connection with Cable, with Domino.
Yeah, exactly.
With Colossus.
For all we know, now he's not going to have any motivation to save the child. And then, the child will just... Well, I guess Cable would kill the child.
Yeah.
That'd be it. It'd be a much easier movie.
It was interesting because for part of it, Cable was the bad guy. And while you didn't understand his powers or anything, he was interesting. And I think more interesting than the kid.
Yeah.
But...
And then he had to team up.
Yeah.
And I hated that too. Because Cable's going, you released Juggernaut. So now I need your help to defeat this child. And I'm like... Okay, I thought Cable was a real badass. And I'm sitting here desperately trying to assign some skill to Cable. Maybe he's really, really tough, but then him going, I'm not tough enough to defeat Juggernaut. I'm like, so what are you? What can you do besides just be good in fights, I guess?
Yeah.
And that is interesting, though, thinking about it, that if Deadpool went back and saved his wife, then that probably means that he let Cable kill the kid. which is, again, completely goes against the theme of this movie.
I mean, the writer probably wasn't thinking that, but logically, that would be the conclusion you'd come to.
Yeah. There were great jokes in this movie. I like that they assemble a whole superhero team, and then there's a scene where pretty much all of them just die immediately from one stupid mistake Deadpool made. That was great. That was inspired comedy.
Yeah.
But I wish I just cared more. You know what I mean? Like, that scene in a great story would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And God, there were elements there. Like, it definitely took a swing, but it took a much bigger swing with the comedy, obviously, because it hit with the comedy, but with the story,
they
didn't try nearly as hard.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, we are going to this movie, at least this is the way I go into movies. I expect a good story.
Yeah.
It's fine if you have comedy, but that's an element. I want a story.
Comedy can't drive a whole movie.
And you know, they were treating it like it was a stand-up special. And that's fine, but don't make it a movie. Just make it a fucking... Put it on Netflix.
Yeah.
And Deadpool, here I go again. Like...
the special.
All right.
That seemed like a lot of movies.
Yeah, I don't know how long we went, but we did it.
Yeah, wow.
It sucks, though. I feel like this is supposed to be a test run to see, you know, if this works better as a podcast.
Yeah.
But boy, I don't know. I feel like there was no fun had for this episode.
No, because the month of May was just very dry. So it's not really our fault. We can't we can't bring life to what is dead.
We did more movies in this episode really than we have before, and you know, it's a bad sign. I mean, I'm sure it's not always going to be like this, but what if it is?
I don't know. I think we have room to improve, sure, but in future months, either things will be so bad we'll be able to bring fun to that, or they'll be like good and we'll be able to bring, you know, more liveliness to it. But this was just a bad month for movies.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad timing too, because you know, we're making this change.
Right.
We're doing one podcast a month, and because it doesn't seem like it's working, I mean, it's the fault of the movies, but it's also going to kind of come off as it's the fault of changing the format.
Yeah.
So I'm a little paranoid that
Mrs.
Seelan's going to be like, okay, well, clearly this isn't working. This is one of the worst episodes.
Though how does she know? Because she doesn't really listen, to be fair.
Well, I don't know how she knows the things she knows, but
maybe
somehow she's a step ahead of us.
She has someone on the inside ratting on us.
Hopefully this doesn't mean that we're going to have to go back to 2 podcasts.
Yeah, that doesn't seem practical
that would be
at
bad.
This point. Yeah, no.
But then again, I don't know, because we're doing 1 podcast a month, and well, that is the best. That's the best solution.
I think
doing the podcast twice as long, and we get to still be on trajectory with fucking Fissure Mist Media and
our music.
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna be doing this podcast a lot longer than I ever imagined.
Yeah,
I just thought we'd be further along in the future, but just knowing we're kind of locked into this for years.
We're locked into this, but we're also locked in the security of knowing that our band is safe now.
Yeah.
And that is some comfort for me, at least.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if she says that this episode is bad, we have to go back to 2 podcasts a month, then I'm out.
Yeah.
And,
me too.
You know, maybe that'll be good. I don't know.
I can't do that by myself. If you go, I go.
I don't know. We're just going to be doing this a long time, and that's a lot to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
But our podcast is sponsored by Fissure Mist Media. Go there for all of your audio needs. They do podcasts, audiobooks, music, movies. They specialize in movies. They're very good at what they do.
Exactly.
And they apparently have a lot of credits with movies, though I don't have them on hand right now. But just take our word for it. Fissure Mist Media is the place to be. And the place for us to be is at a rehearsal, so let's hop to it. We got our band.
We sure do.
We did it.